I'm Dr. Howard, and welcome to Alien Hour. Today I'm going to share with you an interview that I recently did with an individual who I met, who shared with me some of the most incredible stories of his lifelong UFO encounters that I've ever heard, including his beliefs about galactic consciousness that have arisen from these encounters, and photographs that he has shared with me. One of the most amazing and astonishing UFO witness accounts that I personally have ever heard from anybody, and I'm really excited to share this footage with you. I will be keeping this person's name anonymous to protect their identity. As you know, YouTube has been cracking down on so-called conspiracy content lately, and I don't want their name unnecessarily attached with this, but this is a person, I'm so happy to have met them, and I hope to speak with them more in the future, and I feel like there's a good possibility that it will happen. So just for some background information, I did not previously know this person. I do, besides the YouTube show that you're watching now, I do live events. I was recently asked to appear at a live event. It was an event that was focused on different ideas about outer space. The event was sponsored by Virgin Galactic, and this was the first event that I've been paid to appear at, even though I've done numerous events in the past. So I actually got paid real money by Virgin Galactic, which was very cool and very kind of them. And they also gave me this keychain to commemorate the event that says "Remove before spaceflight," that I intend to keep on my keys, and especially if I have any more abduction experiences, I feel like it'll be kind of fun to have this with me and ask if I can remove this before the spaceflight. And I think that will kind of cue me into what's happening and help me remember more details. So thank you, seriously thank you to Virgin Galactic for sponsoring this event. So as I mentioned, there were numerous people at this event speaking about different ideas of outer space, and I was there to represent UFOs and ufology, and I had these surveys that I handed out that asked people about their feelings about UFOs and about whether they had any UFO experiences themselves. And I'll be going over, I got some really fascinating, amazing responses from people at the event, and I'll be going over those in a future episode. But today, what's really incredible that happened is that after I handed out these surveys, this individual approached me and asked if they could speak with me about their UFO experiences, and I said yes, of course. And I had a little UFO research center set up in the space, which you'll see. And so I did a quick interview on the spot and received just some of the most absolutely amazing information about UFOs that I've ever heard. And so that's it for the intro. Without further ado, let's get to it, because it's Alien Hour.
So back in 2013, I spent about a year trying to communicate with extraterrestrials, and it turned out to be very successful. So I had about 8 sightings, 8 to 9, that were directly visible and directly not anything that's of Earth. And yeah.
Can I just ask you real quick, where was this when this happened?
So I was in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So that's near Canada, almost about 200 miles from the north of Canada, and near the Great Lakes. Did you want me to tell you about my first sighting?
Yes.
Okay. So my first sighting, I was on a lake with my girlfriend, and we were watching the stars, and we're both into UFOs. And so what was interesting was we saw a large ship descending. Now this was a massive ship, probably it had to be a mile or 2 in diameter.
Wow.
And
Can you describe the shape?
the shape of it basically, from all of my UFO experiences, what happens is that they don't stay for long. They flash in and out because they're going through the dimensions. So what happened is they came in, it flashed. I don't exactly remember what happened next, but then basically they started kind of fading away. And it was nothing. Then all of a sudden it was gone. And we were just sitting there for a minute like, did that just literally fucking happen? And so that's basically how almost all the experiences have been like. They've been going through the dimensions. They come in, you see them, they flash in and out, and then they leave.
Is there you believe these are interdimensional events? Do you see any kind of phasing or anything that changes? Like, does the temperature change, or does the light change, or anything like that, or do they just flash? Here, I'll let you describe.
That's an interesting question. It happens so quickly, so unexpectedly. You have no idea how to react, and they leave before you even know how to respond. So, from that first sighting, above that lake, the large ship, I believe, was a huge mothership, like mega massive, huge ship, and I believe there was actually a second ship that came off of it. Now I'm remembering a second ship came off of it. That was actually right on New Year's Day. That was New Year's Day, 2013, January 1st, 2013. And so that was my first sighting.
What's really fascinating, it's fascinating to meet you tonight at this event, but that's also about when my interest in ufology started. So previously I'd had a career in veterinary medicine, which I've talked about on the show before. But in 2013, I started attending these UFO events that made me realize that I had previous contact experiences. Yeah. So it's so interesting. I don't know if there's something about 2013. Hopefully we'll get more information from the surveys I handed out tonight. But that's really fascinating that happened to you in 2013.
Yeah.
So you said there were more sightings. Were they all in Wisconsin?
Yes. Yep. I can actually go into a second experience that was much different. So I was returning from tennis. I played for college. That we went to state, and I was returning that day. And so this was the second type of alien sighting of a ship that was different. It was more of the orb. So you hear about the orbs. The first one was a ship, this huge mothership. Second ship came off of it. Second time it was more of orbs. That was very interesting. I'm driving on downtown Appleton in Wisconsin. Downtown Appleton, where Lawrence University. I don't know if you've ever heard of Lawrence University.
I've actually been to Appleton.
Oh, really? Nice. It's a beautiful city. And I'm driving on this bridge, this main bridge. I look to my right, and there is a lake. And out of the lake is a collection of orbs that are all spiraling up. Now, these are probably had to be 20 orbs that were all in this, like, they were basically a sphere. And you could almost see inside the sphere, but you couldn't see what was in it. It was radiating. It was pulsating. And
what color were they?
My first instinct is to say pinkish, but I would say whitish too. And actually, this one is the one I have the pictures of.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So this one was the most biggest experience of my life because there were so many of them. There was like a whole army of them. So basically, I pull then off into this golf course that's adjacent to the river. And I start seeing the whole army going up. And they're just all following each other in exactly the same orbit. And in the picture I have, you could see all the orbs. They're all like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're all spiraling up. So they must have been coming out of the river, and they must have been going up. When you look at them, when I was on the bridge, it was like you couldn't tell. It was another dimension. So they were interdimensional. Yeah. So that was probably probably the biggest experience, I would say.
Those are both incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah. Were there more experience?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Just really briefly, the rest of them were more of just the flashing in and out. Sure. They were coming in through the dimensions. They made themselves known, and then they left. I think it was just that time period, that year, they were just basically saying, hey, we're here. Like, don't, believe. And, like, we're here to help Earth. Like, we're just observing. This Earth is just the big university. The galaxy is a big university, and we're all just trying to learn. So I never got to know what their missions were, but it was kind of comforting to know that they were around.
Did you feel like that was a message that you received telepathically, or is that just something you thought, or did you feel like something delivered that message to you?
That's a very difficult question. I haven't tried direct communication, so it was more of just the energy, the feeling. There is no evil, in that sort of thing. They're basically just they're observing us. But later on, I got to know more about like my own galactic identity, and so.
What do you mean by that?
By galactic identity, I mean that like there are people on Earth that are connected to the galaxy, and that's all I really want to say.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Yep.
And it's interesting that you say that the thing about no evil, because something I've been really focusing on lately is that extraterrestrials, if we imagine that they're as intelligent as humans or more intelligent, then they're individuals. And so I think there's a lot of ufologists who believe that there are certain species of aliens that are evil and ones that are good, but my idea is that they're all individuals, and that that you can't think about them that way. You have to think about them in terms of individuals, and that maybe there are some evil ones, but they're going to be very, very specific individuals, but it's as sort of, I think most people are sort of generally good. I would assume the same for other beings.
Yeah. Once you are able to achieve a galactic perspective, you see the wholeness of all that is, and you understand. And with understanding comes completeness, and with completeness comes like pure love. You basically become a Solarian, a sun being. I believe most aliens in our solar system come from the sun, and I believe our origin as well is from the sun. We are entering a new era, a Solarian era, where we are merging back with our galactic center and our galactic source, which is the sun. So I think we're going to see a lot of interesting things develop in this next era. Probably starting 2012, there's a whole 2012 shift. I think that's when all of it started happening. I think that's a new era dawning. And I believe in this era, we will merge again with the galaxy.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for talking with me and sharing your experiences.
Anytime.
I hope you enjoyed this absolutely out of this world UFO account. Thank you so much to this individual for sharing these experiences with me. They're very, very personal. It's brave of you to share them, and I really appreciate it. I hope that we can do a follow-up interview in the future, because there's more questions. Looking back on it, there's more questions that I want to ask him. I'm truly honored to share this interview with all of you, everyone at Alien Hour. And I also want to let you, the viewer, know that if you have your own UFO experiences that you would like to share on the show, do not hesitate to reach out to me. Either put it down in the comments below or send me an email at alienhourtv@gmail.com. I'll put that down below in the description so you have it. I've had a couple of people send me pictures or clips, but if you want to, even if we have to talk over Skype, if you want to come in and share your experiences and get my perspective on them, I would love that. I love hearing this stuff from you. I've had people on Instagram message me their experiences too and had really great conversations. It's my favorite thing about doing the show, so please don't hesitate to send that my way. Next week, as I said before, next week we're going to go over the surveys and some of the amazing other UFO accounts that people shared with me at this event. I'm looking forward to doing more events and getting more people to fill out these surveys. If you enjoyed this and you want more UFO disclosure and more Alien Hour, please subscribe. YouTube is making it more difficult for people to see my videos because it is conspiracy content and they don't want the truth to be out there. But I do, and you do, and together we're going to make the truth happen. So subscribe and follow along and join me the next time that the clock strikes Alien Hour.